Before I get into the discovery call questions that coaches need to know, I think it's important that you know why I do this training. Despite the fact that I'm battling allergies and traveling, I need to get these videos out to you because when you learn this system, it is going to change your life. The number one reason I am putting this training out there is because you, as a coach, have a transformation that the world needs, and you can't get it to the world if you can't enroll them into your program. The number two reason I do these videos is because you deserve to be financially free. You have worked hard. You have a transformation. And the fact that you can't enroll enough people is not your fault. Nobody has taught you how to close sales in a way that is comfortable for coaches. So let's get into those questions right now. Here's the scenario. You are on a call with a prospective client. You're wanting to enroll them. The call goes super well. You have a great connection. You have a great conversation, and you get to the end of the call and crickets. Nothing happens. They don't enroll, you follow up, and possibly they even ghost you, which is even worse. So why does this happen? This happens because you did not use a system that works consistently to enroll people into your coaching program time after time after time. So let's talk about that now. If your discovery calls feel more like a friendly chat than an actual professional enrollment call, then you need to hear this today, because it's not because you don't have a good offer. You do, but a great offer presented the wrong way is still going to net you the same result: no enrollment. So you absolutely have to ask the right questions at the precise time during a sales call in order to enroll the maximum amount of people that need your help. Today, I am giving you the exact questions that every coach needs to stop the slow fade, the ghosting, let me think about it. You need more yeses without feeling salesy or pushy. Now, because I want you to know precisely where to use these questions in your sales call, I put a link in below so you can go and grab the outline of the 8-step program, and you'll see in there where to put these questions precisely. So let's get into it. We're going to jump to step 3. Step 3 is identify. And I call it identify because at this point, you are literally identifying what it is they need and if your solution solves their problem. Prospects don't always either know or share right off the top their actual problem. So we have to use precise questions in the right place in a sales structure in order to move them to the place where we can find out if this is true or not true. During identify, if I sense that someone is holding back or not giving me all the information, I have a surefire question that snaps them out of this every single time. And the question goes something like this. So, Sally, what prompted you to jump on the call with me today? Now, the reason this particular question works well is because if you've been chatting away and they may have already decided that they have told you why they're there, or if they haven't told you on purpose, this question really goes to the heart of the matter and reminds them that they booked this call with you to find out if your program is a fit for their problem. So I find that question really snaps people out of whatever struggle they're having internally or out of their own lack of awareness for what it is that we're on the call for. Also, if this person was a referral, you might get an answer that sounds something like, oh, well, Johnny referred me because he took your program or he talked to you or whatever the case is. From there, that opens up a whole other door. So why do you think that Johnny wanted you to talk to me? What was it you two were talking about that prompted this referral? So you see what I mean? Every question we ask in the right position allows us to figure out what the next question is to get to the bottom of what's going on with them so we can solve their problem. Step 4 in my sales structure is investment. And I think this is where a lot of coaches fall down because it is tough to talk about money. even me, who's been in sales a million years, sometimes with some people, I struggle to talk about money. So these questions are going to help you with that. I still to this day avoid actually focusing in on the dollars. What I do instead is I focus in on the investment of what they've already tried. So a question I may ask during the investment phase of the sales structure is, what have you already tried in terms of trying to find a solution? So at this point, they're going to share with you maybe courses they've done or workshops they've done. Whatever the case is, you're going to start to get an idea of what they've already done and what they've already spent. A follow-up question could be, oh, and what did that cost you? Because I find that when you say to someone, what have you already tried? Well, I took Joe Blow's course last year and it didn't help me at all. So a follow-up question for me in that scenario would be, okay, what does he charge for that course again? It's a very natural question and it's very conversational, but it's also giving you a ton of information. The follow-up question to that, though, must be, why didn't that work for you? What do you think it was that was missing from that program? Because that question helps you not only with investment, it also helps you to figure out what it is they feel like is missing in order for them to solve this problem. Once I go through several of these types of questions in the investment step of this structure, I might say something like, what would it be worth to you in terms of dollars or in terms of money on return or in terms of the impact on your family or being able to quit your job or whatever information they've given you about why they're trying to make this change is going to inform how you're going to structure that question. What you're going to say is because, again, it's going to depend on what they've told you already. But that's the gist of the question. What is their payoff for solving this? The result of these questions for you and your prospect is really pointing to the frustration. The problems they've had solving this really lean into your solution. So now you can start to combat what they've already struggled with this information you're getting. Because asking questions is just getting information in order to figure out, can I help them? How can I point to how I'm helping them? And how can I get them to a place where they trust my solution over anyone else's? One more question you can ask in this is just straight up, how much, because you already know, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's a year, how much money have you spent over the last year trying to solve XYZ, whatever their problem is? That question I reserve for people who are more A-type personality, where they're definitely more get to the point kind of people. But it does work and it's super effective with getting people to give you the information you need to help them move forward. Now we're going to jump over to step 5, and this is the clear path. Questions here may not seem important or relevant, but what you need to know is that most people have buyer's remorse in the very first part of the buying process. So the first 48 hours after they invest is when they're going to have the most questions. Did I make the right decision? Am I moving forward with the right coach? Am I doing what I need to do to solve my problem? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I spent that much money. This is when people have these thoughts. So the clear path helps you keep them moving forward, particularly in the very beginning when you have first enrolled them. Whether they've paid or not, this step is super important. I would even venture to guess that it's more important when they have paid you, because once they pay you, the questions now become very about remorseful. Did I make the right decision? And when you have a clear path of their next steps, it's going to make it much easier for them to move into your solution without having all that angst around it. The clear path is 100% about their buying process. Are they a jump in now person? Are they, I need to talk to my wife, or let me move some money, or maybe they're the type of person who needs a payment plan and they're hesitant to ask for one. So if you have done all your pre-work up to this step, the clear path, then you are going to know exactly how to deal with those objections, which are going to come up. One of the questions I might ask during the clear path section of the structure is, how much time do you need to get started? And they might say, I need a week. Great. It's Tuesday. Let's book a follow-up call for Monday. What time works for you? And now what you're doing is you're keeping them in the process. They know that they're going to commit to this call with you. They're going to show up, and they also know that it's time to make a decision. They might also say something like, I need a month. Well, okay, but they jumped on this call because they had a problem. So my question to that objection might be, why do you need a month? And what is in the way of you getting started this week? And now they're going to start to unearth what's going on for them. A lot of people will say at this stage, or to that question, they will say, I don't have the cash right now. Great. Okay. How much do you have? How can we get you started on this solution so that you can start bringing in cash? Because they're selling something. And the quicker you can help them move towards the solution, the quicker they're going to solve their problem. Even if you're a coach who is teaching women how to enjoy retirement, this is true. Because why are you waiting a month to enjoy your retirement that's already started? Do you see what I mean? These are the kinds of questions that all you're doing is unearthing what it is that's in the way of them moving forward in this clear path step. And how you frame the clear path is really going to depend on everything you've said from the beginning of the call forward. Because remember, the clear path is way down the list at step 5. So this is all going to be informed by what you've already learned. What you're trying to get to here is the how. How are we going to pay for this? What do we need to do first? And then the commitment on the when. Because when we commit to something and move forward, we are committing to ourselves. And this is something that you should not be afraid of sharing with anyone you're talking to. So today, I am challenging you to grow your coaching business by taking that first step, which is going to the description below, grab my 8-step framework, which is going to explain all these steps, and then come back to this video and see where it is you can insert your own questions that you've heard over time. Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And I, again, am doing this to support you to move your gift into the world.